Autumn has arrived. People of the YouTube world and all who are watching this, I am Mackenzie 901K. It's officially the start of fall. Well, actually, not officially, but honestly here lately the weather has kind of been cooling down just a bit. It's starting to get a little bit more crispy and chilly in the mornings. You know what? I'll take it. That's all the signs I need. It's fall time now. So in honor of fall starting and in order to welcome in and celebrate fall properly, today we are going to be getting in the festive autumn spirit. First of all, I want to decorate. Obviously, we decorate together every single year. And then I want to sit down and do some journaling, talk about my TBR, you know, just really have a full festive fall video, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. And like I said, we're going to start off with decorating. So let's go ahead and let's start decorating for autumn 2025. I think the first official thing that I want to do is hang up these bats. Aren't they so cool? I did not know that I had these, but I actually, fun fact, bought these for a photo shoot last year that never ended up happening. So low-key, glad I purchased these. So I think I want to hang up these. Here's what we done. Ta-da! I did move a few things around. First of all, I put this pink pumpkin here. Y'all can't really see it. Hold on, let me. So I put this pink pumpkin here instead of the pumpkin on the book stacks, just because this whole like thing is pink. Like the whole theme over here is pink. So I thought I would put the pink pumpkin, and it says boo on it. I definitely don't think you can see it, but it does say boo on it. And then we have this little pumpkin right here. This pumpkin I think is cute right here, so I put it right here. And then back here I have this little book stack, and then I put the bats on the wall. I put another little pink pumpkin down here, and then over here I've got some just little knickknacks. This is what I've done so far. I'm gonna move on to the next couple of bookshelves. Let's go. No, I'm not. I'm going to decorate my nightstand now, so we're gonna do that first. here to talk about my fall TBR. Every year I write down my fall TBR in this book specifically. Ignore the Ray Dunn font. It's just what I use and I have been using since 2022, I think. So ignore the Ray Dunn font. But I do write down my fall TBR every year in here, and it gets quite long. It's currently 3 pages long. Instead of going and talking about my entire fall TBR that I have written down in here, I would just talk about the key books, the main books, the high priority books that are currently on my 2025 fall TBR. So let's go ahead and let's start talking about those. And of course, we're starting off with the fantasy. So first of all, first fantasy book that I'm going to mention is A Deadly Education. This is by Naomi Novik. This has been on quite a few fall TBRs, and it has been haunting my TBR shelf for quite a few years at this point. So I really just need to read it and see what it's about. I've heard mixed reviews. Some reviews I've heard really great things. They compare it to Harry Potter. They say that it's Harry Potter but deadly. So I'm intrigued by this, but I've also heard some reviews that say this series is not that good. So we shall see. But this is the first book on the fall TBR. Then we have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco. Again, another book that has haunted my fall TBR for quite a few years. I did start reading this book, I think maybe in 2022, and I ended up DNFing it because when I read it, I had a very bad tummy ache. The pictures in this are a little bit graphic, so I decided to DNF this book for now, but I'm ready to pick it back up. I've heard that the romance in here is really good. I've heard that the stories are really intriguing, and I do really like Kerri Maniscalco's writing. I've read the Kingdom of the Wicked series for the most part. I've still not read the 3rd book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, but I do like Kerri Maniscalco's writing, so I am excited to see what Stalking Jack the Ripper is about. Next up, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Again, another book that has been a TBR veteran for a very long time at this point. I've just been very intimidated by this book, and now especially recently, because I have heard that the book is kind of like sad, even though I've heard that it's not sad, but also I get sad really easy to sad books, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. And also just the sheer size of this book is just very intimidating. I think that it is, oh, is it only 544 pages? Oh, I thought it was much longer than that. I thought it was like 700 pages. All I know about this is following Addie, and she makes a deal with the devil, and then in exchange for this deal, she gets to be immortal. But the only issue is that when she meets somebody, they don't remember her, except for one day I think somebody does remember her. I'm excited to read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I will say it is quite intimidating. Then we have Eclipse. This is the 3rd book in the Twilight series. I started reading the Twilight series last year. I read the first Twilight book on Halloween. I continued with New Moon during Summerween this year, and now we are moving on to Eclipse. I would like to finish the whole Twilight saga before the end of October, because if you don't know, the Twilight movies just got re-released into theaters, and they're playing them starting on the 29th of October. I actually booked tickets to go see the first Twilight movie, and I'm very excited to do that. But I think that if I do end up completing the Twilight series before that time period, then I may go see the rest of them. Maybe, potentially. We'll see. But I know for sure that I am going to go see the first Twilight movie. Anyway, I'm going to be moving on and reading Eclipse very soon, and I am very excited to see how this series concludes. Next up, we have House of Hollow. This is another TBR veteran of mine. Again, just really intimidated by this book. I don't really remember what it's about. Children disappear and then they return with no memory of where they've been or what happened to them. Okay. I have heard really good things about this book as well. I just get a little bit intimidated. I think this is a bit more on the horror side than thriller, and I don't really read horror books, but I also think maybe this is young adult horror. I do really want to read this. I really want to read some good spooky books around Halloween this year. I really want to make that a priority. Then next up, speaking of spooky books, we have Belladonna. Belladonna is a gothic spooky fantasy book, and I can't remember exactly what happens in Belladonna. It's been a while since I've looked at the Belladonna synopsis, but I used to actually own a physical copy of Belladonna. I have no idea where that copy is, so I am getting a copy from the library soon. I've heard great things about the first and second books in the Belladonna series, so I think it's time for me to read that series. Then we have yet another TBR veteran. The reason that I'm including so many books that have been on my TBR for a few years at this point is because I really want to try to prioritize them this fall, and if I don't get to them, or if I find myself not wanting to read them, then I think next year will be when I unhaul them. So I really want to try to get to them to see if I'm going to like them, and if I don't, or if I don't pick them up, they're leaving. So Incendiary is about a king's spy of some sort. That's all I got. I've just heard that this book is so perfect to put on your fall TBR, and I see that every single year, and I'm like, oh my god, I own that book. Let me put it on my fall TBR right quick. It's here, it's going on it. Will I read it? Who knows. Then we have Modern Divination. This is a book that I have had on my TBR. I think this may be the second year that it's been on my fall TBR. I've heard interesting things about this. It's just like a dark academia, I think, or see, I read synopsis and then I immediately forget what the book's about. So, you know, I never have to worry about looking into a book too much, because if I do, I always forget what they're about. But Katie and I have decided to potentially do a buddy read of this in November. So yes, it's going on the fall TBR. I'm very excited to read this. Then we have The Monstrous Kind. This was a Darling Desi recommendation last year that I had seen, and I forgot what this one was about. I think there's like some type of like plague. One of the monstrous creations that stalks the province's borders. Yeah, it's something like a phantom something. Darling Desi had great things to say about this book. So I picked it up last year, I think towards the end of spooky season maybe, and I never got around to it. So I'm putting this on my TBR again this year because I am very excited about it. Then we have The Vampire Academy. This book again is another TBR veteran, I think. I've had this book for a couple years at this point, and I really want to read this. I'm really in like a good vampire mood this year because I've been watching a lot of The Vampire Diaries. I've been rewatching Twilight. and I also started watching the originals. So I've just really been in that vampire mindset recently, so I think this will be good. I've heard that this book is very fun, but don't take it too seriously, and I'm very excited for that whole vibe. I feel like it'll be fun as like a palate cleanser of sorts in between maybe some more like serious dark books. I am reading Assistant to the Villain hopefully this month. Hopefully in September I'm going to be reading Assistant to the Villain. I'm going to try to read the whole trilogy in September at some point because I love this first book, and yes, I've read this book before, but I want to reread this and then continue the series so that way I can finish it. I'm very excited to read this. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't read this yet, but I need to. So next we have a couple of books that I don't currently physically own, but I am planning on picking up that's still in the fantasy category. First book is The Raven Scholar. This book, originally I thought it was more dark academia. Looking at it again, I don't know for sure because the synopsis said it was something to do with some type of competition to like find the next scholar or something like that. So we'll see how dark academia it actually gets, but I've heard great things about The Raven Scholar. I am very intrigued by it and I need to pick it up. Same thing with The Jasad Heir. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. This book, while it's not super duper like spooky or anything, I've just heard really great things about it, and I really want to start getting into some high fantasy, and I believe that this book is supposed to be a bit more high fantasy leaning, so I'm very excited about that. And also the second book I think maybe comes out this month or next month. Okay, next we're going to talk about some new releases really quick. I have quite a few new releases on here, but again, I did only want to pick the ones that were like high top priority. First one is Fearful. This is the very final conclusion to the Powerless series. This is a novella, and I believe that it's going to be more about Kit, I think. I do want to know more about what's going on with Kit. Then we have Cat Dragon. A few videos ago, I did try to read Cat Dragon in it because I did get an ARC from the publisher. I will be reading Cat Dragon at some point soon, hopefully before it releases, but we will see. It looks very cozy. I don't really know what it's about other than it follows our main character who has a cat dragon. It just looks like a really cute, cozy fantasy, kind of giving the same vibes as like the Spell Shop. Then we have Uncharmed. This is the sequel to Rewitched, and we will talk about Rewitched in just a second. It's in here somewhere. I heard really great things about Rewitched, and I also got an ARC from the publisher for Uncharmed, so I really want to read both of them very soon. Then we have The Late Night Witches. This book I believe just released recently, but I'm really excited to read The Late Night Witches because it sounds like it's going to be really, really interesting and a bit different from the Even Fall B&B Witches series. So then we have If It Makes You Happy. I also received this book as an ARC, and it comes out tomorrow. I did read a little bit of It Makes You Happy. I did Softy and F It. It is pretty much a 90s Gilmore Girls. It's a romance book where our main character inherits this inn that she has to take care of for her sister because her sister is still in college. So she ends up in charge of this inn, and then there's a next door. She's very grumpy, and then the next door neighbor is like very sunshine happy, and I believe he owns a bakery, and I think he's going to try to help her restore the inn to its former glory. There's also a cute little dog in this book. Immediately, I'm intrigued. And then we have a book that's coming out that I honestly didn't know was coming out, and that is People Watching by Hannah Bowman Young. People Watching by Hannah Bowman Young is coming out, or maybe is already out. I'm unsure. It is a very fall looking book, and I did really enjoy Out on a Limb by Hannah Bowman Young. That story was very interesting. It was a unexpected pregnancy trope, which I don't read a lot of, but Hannah Bowman Young, I think, did it really well. So I am planning on reading People Watching. It looks really, really cute, and I do really love the cover. It's giving like, I don't know, a vibe. And then let's talk about some romance books really quick. So I do have a few romance books on my fall TBR. First of all, we have Rewitched. Again, we talked about this earlier. I'm very excited to read this. I soft DNF'd this book last year in November, but now that October is coming back around and we're getting back in the spooky mindset, I really want to read this. So this is high priority. Then we have An Ancient Witch's Guide to Modern Dating. This is just another one of those silly, goofy, witchy romance books, and I think it's going to be really fun. It looks really cute. I'm very excited for it. So I am going to try to pick this up very soon. I was originally going to try to pick it up a couple months ago. Did not end up happening, but we're back and I really want to pick it up. Welcome back, TBR veterans. This is Small Town Big Magic. This has been on quite a few fall TBRs of mine. I did try to read this, I think maybe last year, and I soft DNF'd it. I can't remember why I soft DNF'd it. It's supposed to be like a witchy Gilmore Girls vibe. Again, if I don't read this book this year, I'm going to be unhauling it just because it's been here for so long and I've still yet to read it. Then we have Her Favorite Jack-o'-lantern. I've had this book for a couple years as well, and it looks really cute. I don't super know what it's about, but I do know that the main characters are named Jack and Sally, and I love that because I love The Nightmare Before Christmas so much. So I'm very excited to hopefully read this year. Anyway, moving on from that, we have The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak Magic. I don't know how long I've had this book, maybe a year or so as well. I've heard great things. I've heard this is again another like Gilmore Girls. Yeah, for fans of practical magic meets Gilmore Girls. And I think that I really am going to be into that. I just hope it's not boring. I've heard good reviews of this book, so I'm intrigued. Then we have The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. Thanks to Katie and Katie alone, I finally finished the XX last year after it taking me 2 years, both years, soft DNFing the book. Last year, I finally finished the XX, so now we're moving on to The Kiss Curse. I think this is maybe like rival magic shops or something like that. I don't know, but I do love this cover. Don't tell Katie, guys, but I might like this cover just maybe a wee bit more than the XX. I'm unsure. I'm undecided because I do love the XX cover, but I love the purple and the orange, I think. That one's also on the TBR. Then we have The 7-Year Slip, another TBR veteran. I've had this book for a few years and I have not read it because I do get intimidated by Ashley Poston books, especially ones that are like surrounding a dead relative or something like that. That's why I've not read The Dead Romantics, and I've also had that book for a little bit. But this one follows Clementine, and she inherits her great aunt's apartment, and her great aunt had always said the apartment was magical. She, I think, sees a guy in the apartment and they're like 7 years apart or something like that. Very interesting. Magical realism in romance books always confuses me. This is supposed to be Ashley Poston's best work. And again, I think this is one of those books that I've read a little bit of and I soft DNF'd it. Here we are, we're back. We're going to be giving this book another try. And then really quick, the last two little sections that I have to talk about are murder mystery, dark academia books, and graphic novels, and I don't have a lot of those this year. First of all, I have in the murder mystery section, Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. I've had this book for a couple of years as well, and this is just one of those mass market paperback murder mystery books that I do typically enjoy. They're nothing like super duper special, but for the most part they're fun, and I've heard really great things about this one. I've seen honestly everybody read this book, and I kind of feel a bit left out. And then also in the back of it too, I find it interesting every time I rediscover this, but there's recipes in the back of this book as well. So I'm very excited to read this one. Then we have The Hand on the Wall. This is me continuing the Truly Devious series. Finally, I'm obsessed with the Truly Devious series right now, and I cannot wait to continue this book very soon. Things went down in the second book, and I need to know. I need to know what's gonna happen. Then we have If We Were Villains. Again, another TBR veteran. I'm intimidated by this book because of Shakespeare. I'm not a Shakespeare girly, but I do understand Shakespeare and I do get some Shakespearean references, but not very many. I took an AP language class at one point. We did a lot of Shakespeare in there. Never taking that again. And then as far as the graphic novels, I have, first of all, Hooky, which I've had again for a couple years. I just need to read it because it looks really cute. All I know about this is that the twins ditch school and they get up to some mischief. Going to be reading this soon. And then I want to read The Sad Ghost Club. I've seen that graphic novel floating around recently, and I think it's finally time for me to read it. It's giving Sheets vibes, and I'm very intrigued by it. So I want to read that as well. And then finally, you guys seen me talk about these in my last video, but I do want to read some Over the Garden Wall graphic novels. I would love to read the Over the Garden Wall Distillatoria book, but unfortunately that book's like hundreds of dollars, and I'm not looking to pay that for a graphic novel. So hopefully these will satisfy that itch. The first one that I have over here is Over the Garden Wall Hollow Town, and this one is Over the Garden Wall Soulful Symphonies. And then very last on the list, because I do have one middle grade that I'm wanting to read, well, reread, is Harry Potter. I really want to read this today on September 1st. We'll see if I get to this today. But I really want to read this because today is officially back to Hogwarts Day. And I do love the world of Harry Potter. I just love it. I will rewatch the Harry Potter movies this year for the fall time. I do just miss these characters a lot. So that's my fall TBR. I've been talking for a minute, but we're still not done because next up I want to set up my journal spread. That concludes the journaling portion. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I definitely think I do like doing a kind of in-between spread just to kind of like announce what season we're in, and then do like the seasonal spread where we show the TBRs and things. I think I like that setup a little bit better. Yeah, with that being said, that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys enjoyed decorating with me and talking through my TBR as well as doing the journaling. I definitely think that I am ready for fall and in the fall spirit. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It helps out the channel and it makes my heart smile. Comment down below if you guys have decorated for fall, or if you guys are waiting a little bit longer to decorate for fall, let me know as well. Please tap that subscribe button as well as that post notification bell. We're currently uploading every Monday at 6 p.m. EST, and we are also doing live streams every Wednesday at 5 p.m. EST. I don't know what we're playing this coming week, but hopefully it'll be something fun, maybe more Tiny Bookshop. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!